Good evening, everyone, and thank you for watching VATV. As you know, that our city will have an incoming election on November 3rd. So, this evening, we had the honor to introduce to our audience one of the best candidates for Boston City Council at large. Ladies and gentlemen, Council Michell Wu.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good evening, Councilor Wu. You are at this VATV studio in 2013.
Oh, yes. I think
There,
2014 too, maybe.
there are some change since then. You want to reintroduce you to our
Sure.
VATV audience?
It's good to be back. Thank you for having me again. It feels like just yesterday that 2 years ago I was running for office for the first time. And now I'm back on the campaign trail, but get to talk about all of the great things that have happened over the last term. So I am a Rosendale resident now, recently moved and had a baby. And I'm really proud of the work I've done on the council. So passing some major laws, working with several working groups, and trying every day to improve life for families in Boston.
You are a first-term councilor.
Yes.
So that I guess that many Boston residents don't know much about you.
Still
Can
very
you go
new.
back? Can you go back to share about your background?
Sure. Well, I am the oldest of 4 kids and the daughter of immigrants. My parents came from Taiwan to the United States, and growing up I had a very strong sense of language barriers as an Asian American girl growing up in a town that didn't have that much diversity. And I got the chance to come out to Boston for college, worked hard, and got a job downtown, but then my mom got sick, and so I went back home, started raising my sisters, opened a family business, and then realized that government has a whole lot to do with how families can survive, whether you can get your business open, whether you can get a good school for your kids, whether you get the health care that you need for your family. So I decided then that I wanted to learn more about government, and then eventually ran for city council.
That is your work and your experience. How did they help you later right now?
Every day I think about my work as trying to remember what it was like, and all of the barriers that my family faced. I want to make sure that no one else has to struggle. We in Boston are so lucky to have great institutions and resources. We have the best hospitals in the world. We have the best universities. We have tech here, the financial services sector. But the key is that we need to connect all of these big resources down to our neighborhoods where people actually live, and take advantage of our community health centers, our libraries, our schools, and make sure that we are reaching people, reaching families in the way that's most comfortable for them. One thing I'm very proud of is introducing a measure that led to a new working group on language and communications access. So all of our city services should be accessible to residents who may not speak English very fluently. And this group, in partnership with the Mayor's Office of New Bostonians and many agencies, has been working to try to figure out how we can truly have translation and interpretation available, assistive technology for the visually and hearing impaired, because we want to be a city where everybody's welcome.
Oh, that's wonderful. But when you get into the city council, what committee do you chair and what is the purpose?
So I actually chair 2 committees.
Yeah.
One is a new committee that I created. It's called the Committee on Small Business, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation. And the idea is to really think about how we support neighborhood businesses, but connecting them with our innovation economy. The second committee is the Arts and Culture Committee, and that thinking about our creative economy. And from those 2 places, our innovation economy, our creative economy, how do we connect that back again to neighborhoods and to families?
Okay, you in the City Council. What is your most proud moment, accomplishment in the City Council?
It's a hard question. I think what I'm proudest of is making sure that every week people have access to information on what the council does. So for the first time now, you can see every week after the city council meeting a short summary of what happened. I type up my notes, I post them on my website, michelleforboston.com. I post it on Facebook, on Twitter, and then send an email out to anyone who wants to get these. And the ideas that I get back in response are wonderful. It's really shown me that people have so many good ideas and they want to be involved in government, but we can't expect people to be involved unless they're informed. So I'm really proud that you can go to my website and see every council meeting and what we talked about each time and the progress that we've made over the last 2 years.
Besides your website, how you contact, how you communicate with your constituency?
Yeah, so anytime people can call or reach out. My business card has my office phone number, my cell phone number, so you can reach us at the office at 617-635-3115 or send an email. It's michelle.wu@boston.gov. We also get mail in the office, although it's a little bit slower. And I also try to do lots of community events. I've been holding a series of neighborhood office hours where we'll pick a different restaurant or coffee shop in each neighborhood and just have a time where people can come in and talk about what's important to them. We'll have a lot more of these coming up in the next couple months. But anytime there's an event that you would like me to come to, I would love to receive the invitation. If you can just send it over to my office and I'll try my best to be there.
You're around the city of Boston a lot. And can you share with us some memorial story with the ordinary people you met?
All of the policy that I work on really comes from stories of the people that I meet, of all the families that I get to talk to and the residents across the city. I remember when I got pregnant and was going to work right up until the baby came. So I was out and about at community meetings and my belly would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And each time I was out, people would come up and were so nice, telling me not to worry, don't be afraid, and giving me great parenting advice. But then they would also talk about how hard it is to be a new mom, how hard it is to be a new dad, and try to work and try to balance everything. So there were some really touching stories that came out of there, and it pained me to hear so much stress that people have to go through. And so I am really proud that the city of Boston passed our paid parental leave ordinance that the council and the mayor worked on and put forth. And so now new moms and dads that work for the city of Boston have some paid time off to spend with a new baby. And that policy and all the policies that I think about always connect to people that I meet across the city.
Thank you, Councilor. Now, we had the question about, it seems that you still have more work to do at the City Council. Please share with us why you run for re-election.
Well, I'm definitely here to ask all of your viewers for their vote on November 3rd. It's been a wonderful job, and what I love most is you can get things done quickly at the city level. There are still a lot of areas of need across Boston, and we've accomplished a lot, but 3 of the biggest issues that I hear people talking about that they need help on are housing, education, and mental health. People can't afford to find a place to live now. Even families with 2 incomes, it's very difficult to buy a home in the city of Boston or find a place you can rent. And we have men and women experiencing homelessness that need services and need housing as well. People from all backgrounds are struggling with housing in every neighborhood. With education, it's also a topic that I hear people talking about when they say, I want to stay in Boston, but I don't know if my family and I can do it. Or even worse, I just moved out of Boston because we couldn't get into a good school. We couldn't afford to pay for private school, and we weren't happy with our options with Boston Public Schools. And this is very personal to me as well as a new mom, and I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to help our families get the quality education they deserve. And then finally, mental health is a huge area of need across our city. It's something that my family has personally had experience with, and it doesn't discriminate. It's a need from every community, every socioeconomic background, but there are particular challenges, and I want to focus on mental health in Boston Public Schools, mental health for our seniors, and mental health in immigrant communities, because there, as I've experienced, language barriers and sometimes cultural barriers can add extra challenge.
Okay. You know that the students in the Boston Public Schools speak many languages.
Yes.
And about 1/3 of them are English language learners. How do we help them?
Yes. Well, I learned something very interesting and something that made me very proud as well during this last season's budget hearings. The BPS budget hearings covered a whole range of topics, and the school department said one category of students that does extremely well across graduation rates, any other measures, they make up a high percentage of the valedictorians in our high schools. It's our FLEP students. And you say, what is FLEP? It's formerly limited English proficient. So once students make it through ELL level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then they become FLEP. They finish the English language classes. And that category of students does incredibly well in our school district. So with our ELL students, we need to make sure that they are receiving the support they need to graduate through those different levels, that they stay in school, they feel that there's the behavioral health support in addition to the academic and language support. We just need to surround every child, and we've seen that when students who come from a different language background or speak a different language at home, once they get through the ELL program, they do amazingly well. And I think we can make sure that all ELL students have that success rate.
But there are some students still fail undergrad.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How do we there help them, special students in that category?
Yes. I think that we have to have a very proactive approach in our schools. It's not enough to say we can provide resources once something happens or once an incident comes up, once there's a warning sign. We need to be supporting students, every student from the beginning. It's actually pretty clear what makes for a successful school community. It's a good principal at the school, great teachers in all the classrooms, and an engaged parent community. Those three pieces we can just support from all around, and that's how we make sure that every student has the opportunity for a quality education.
Yeah. Many newcomer, refugee, and immigrant continue to resettle in Boston. How do you bring them into the mainstream?
Well, as someone who comes from an immigrant background, I think what's most important is that everybody feels welcome, no matter their level of English or how many years they've lived in Boston or what they do for work. So certainly we need pathways for people who want to learn English. So there are many programs that are doing a great job, and we have to continue to support those ESOL classes. We have to continue to provide job opportunities, and one job pathway that I'm very passionate about is helping small businesses. It's one of the ways that any immigrant family can make a living. You can open a small business, you don't have to speak English, you don't have to have a certain level of education. So we have to make it as fast as possible, as easy as possible for neighborhood business owners to open a business. But most of all, I think we have to celebrate the culture of every single community. We can't expect everybody to fit in the same box and say, learn English and then just be Bostonian and not Chinese or Vietnamese. Everybody should celebrate their identities and their backgrounds, I think it just adds to the richness of our city and the strength of our city when we have August Moon Festival in Chinatown, or we celebrate Tet in Fields Corner. And I would love to see a Little Saigon designation, right? We need to make sure that every generation of our immigrant communities has the opportunity to celebrate their background with everyone else in the city too.
Is there that one of your priority your next term as councilor?
It will always be important to me to make sure that every cultural background is welcome in our city and celebrated. That's part of the reason why I'm excited to chair the Arts and Culture Committee. One thing that we think about is how do we really enhance and support all of this programming and all of the festivities that happen to commemorate each culture.
Okay. You know that our city had a low turnout in the election day. How do you encourage people go to the poll?
Well, we hope that there won't be a low turnout, but with 6 days to go, we're doing everything we can to remind people. Historically, we see this happen in the what are called off-year elections. Everybody comes out to vote for president. A lot of people come out to vote for mayor, and then when it's just the city council, everybody stays home. Well, I think we need to, in some ways, flip that and have everybody, just as many people come out to vote for city council as for president, because when you think about the actual impact, your city council, your city government is what controls the quality of life around you. How clean your streets are, whether trash is picked up on time and the streets are paved nicely. It controls the schools, how easy it is for businesses to open. So many of the things that we deal with day to day are actually from city government. So I just want to really encourage people to think about how important it is to participate at the municipal level. We need your vote, we need your voice. It's the way that you can express your community's voice. So it's not just for you, although every individual vote matters, it's for the entire community.
One question about the local Dorchester, Dorchester and Field Corner. Around there are more than 10,000 Vietnamese live there, and more than 200 business owner and operator over there. And they want that Field Corner will become a destination for culture and business. How do you help them?
Yes, I think the small businesses are key. It's really what attracts people from all different neighborhoods to spend time in each of our neighborhoods. So whatever we can do to support those small businesses, I am trying to do. I, in fact, spent some time at VATV and Fields Corner listening to small business owners. We held one of our listening sessions to say, what can the city be doing better? We got a lot of suggestions that were published and that we've been pushing for, everything from cutting down the amount of time it takes to getting a permit to improving the street lights and making sure that people can feel safe at night when they're coming to work at a business or spend money there. So there's a lot more that we can do. Small businesses are key to that. And again, I think celebrating our culture and doing everything we can to support events and community gatherings in the neighborhood helps to draw people in from all across Boston and beyond.
In the big picture, how you see Boston in the near future, maybe 10, 20 years from now, about housing, school, mental health, like you say, economic development?
Now is a big time for change in Boston, and we are at a point in our city where there's more growth and building and construction than most other periods in our history. And we're at a time with a new superintendent, with new leadership in City Hall. The door is wide open for new ideas and community participation. So my goal in that time is that Boston will be a place where everyone feels comfortable and welcome, raising a family, being able to find good schools for their kids, finding a job, and that we'll be able to see each neighborhood not just as a place where people live and then they go work downtown, but each neighborhood should be a strong destination where everybody wants to see all of the different parts of Boston's culture. So there's a lot of work to do to get there, but with Mayor Walsh's administration and my colleagues on the council, I feel good that we'll continue making great progress.
Thank you, Councilor. In your last message, why should a Bostonian or a Vietnamese American in the city vote for you and keep you in the city council?
Well, I want to say thank you to all of the viewers for tuning in and for your support from the community in the past. It is so important that everybody comes out to vote, and I ask you very humbly for your support on November 3rd. As an Asian American, it's so important to me that all of our cultures are celebrated and that every family has a chance for success and for opportunity in our city, no matter how well you speak English or no matter how long you've lived in our city. Every family has challenges and struggles, and city government is here to help support that. So above all, if nothing else, please remember to vote on November 3rd. And after that, or anytime, know that you can call my office, and we are eager to help and try to help you with any situation, big or small. That's what the City Council is here for. So it's been a real pleasure to serve 2 years, and I hope to have 2 more.
Thank you very much, Councilor Wu. I just want to remind you, our VATV audience, when you go to the poll on November 3rd, please remember Councilor Michell Wu, number 2 on your ballot. Please stay tuned for our second program.